From Boss Track, it's Her HypeSquad, a show about amazing women who've made incredible strides as leaders in their industry. They're here to support you in your leadership growth, to encourage you and hype you up as part of your Hype Squad. Hello everyone, it's Michelle Harris back with another episode of Her Hype Squad. This week I'm talking with Lisa Custodio and Stefania Piacentini, the founders and travel experts of Alla Tua, a travel company specializing in unique tours of Europe. In this episode, we talk about designing authentic travel experiences, hidden gems of Italy, embracing local culture when traveling, and Lisa and Stefania's experience starting a business together. If you love travel and new experiences, you don't want to miss the many insights provided in this conversation. But before we jump in, let me give you a little background on Lisa and Stefania. With over 25 years of experience in operations ranging from meeting and party planning to organizing conferences and conventions, Lisa Custodio has dedicated herself to keeping everybody running on schedule and on time. Beyond her professional endeavors, she has been orchestrating memorable trips for family and friends for even longer. Eager to share her most cherished destinations and the tranquility that travel imparts, Lisa, a proud Army mom, has explored diverse corners of the globe, including Europe, South America, Africa, and Asia, with Australia next on her list. Lisa's collection of cherished travel memories includes cruising down the Nile in Egypt on her honeymoon, an exhilarating attempt to summit Mount Kilimanjaro with her best friend in Tanzania, delightful encounters with mischievous monkeys with her daughter in Malaysia, and missionary work in Ghana. Nevertheless, the heartbeat of her fondest memories consistently echoes in Italy, where the embrace of family creates the most enduring and heartwarming connections. Stefania is a 29-year-old native of Modena, Italy. She is an accountant who practices both in Nashville, Tennessee, and Italy, allowing her to stay connected to her beloved roots. Her passion for travel began at the age of 17 during a transformative exchange year in the United States, inspired by her mother's adventurous spirit. Stefania grew up in a small village in Italy and now lives in a larger city, giving her a deep appreciation for the diverse landscapes and cultures within her country. Her adventures have taken her across the globe to destinations like the Philippines, the Caribbean, Brazil, Cappadocia, Bali, and Africa. Each journey has enriched her understanding and appreciation of different cultures. Lisa and Stefania both run Alla Tua Travel, where they are excited to share the beauty of Italy with guests. Whether through guided group tours or private customized trips, Stefania and Lisa are passionate about recommending the most amazing places and experiences. They strive to help travelers see Italy through the eyes of locals, constantly exploring new parts of Stefania's motherland to discover hidden gems and unique experiences. Their goal is to provide an authentic and enriching travel experience that leaves a lasting impression on their clients. If you enjoy this conversation, be sure to subscribe to our channel and help more people find us by sharing this episode with others or by leaving a review. Or subscribe to our weekly newsletter filled with things we found that we're excited about and were inspired by, along with valuable leadership advice to watch, listen to, or read. It's a little bit of joy for your inbox each Monday. You can subscribe at www.thebosstrack.com/weeklyjoy. Now, here's my conversation with Lisa Custodio and Stefania Piacentini. I am so excited to get into this conversation on Her Hype Squad. I have two amazing women here, Lisa Custodio and Stefania, Piacentini. Did I say that right?
Good job. Yes.
Okay. We're going to talk about many different things, including travel to Italy and starting a business and what that's like to start a business in a partnership. So as with all my conversations, I'd love if you could each provide a introduction to yourself and let the audience know a little bit about who you are. I don't know who wants to go first. Lisa?
Okay, I'll go first. So my name is Lisa Custodio. I'm originally from New York, but I live in Miami now. I'm a mom of two. I am an Army mom. I have my son at West Point, and my daughter, she's the complete opposite. She's an artist. So Yeah, and I studied communications in college. And one of the fun facts about me is that after college, I moved to Spain without speaking any Spanish with my girlfriends, and it was my first time in Europe. I moved there. So it just created a lifelong love of traveling and of Europe and the feeling that I get when the plane lands there. So that kind of just leads into starting this travel business about 30 years after that first time I landed in Madrid. So that's a little bit about me.
And I'm Stefania. I'm 29 years old and I was born and raised in Italy. And then, similar to Lisa, I did an exchange year when I was in high school, but in the US. So now I kind of go back and forth a little bit between Italy. I live very close to my hometown where my parents are from. And then I live part time in Nashville, Tennessee, in the US. And a fun fact about me is that since I live part time in Nashville, I'm a very big fan of country music. I always listen to it, even when I'm back in Italy in the car, going to work, back and forth. I'm obsessed. I love it. And yes, so together with Lisa, we have our Alla Tua travel agency.
Well, I'm so happy to have you on here. I've been wanting to have you on for a while, and I'm glad we were able to make it happen today. So, you both mentioned you have your travel business, Alla Tua, and one of the things I'd love to talk about is how you decided to focus on Italy as the centerpiece of your travel business.
So we made it the centerpiece, of course, because Stefania is from Italy. I'm Italian American, so it's always near and dear to my heart. And her being from there just makes it such a great experience for our clients to have an Italian speaker who can, really speak with locals there. But it is a centerpiece because we do trips and plan trips to all over Europe, not just Italy. So we do. I love the word centerpiece, that Italy is the centerpiece for sure, because it's just near and dear to our hearts. But like I said, I lived in Spain for 2 years. We've both traveled up, down, around Europe for me for the past 30 years, and Stefania is a European. So it's just a big love of Italy, but we love it all.
Yeah. And Stefania, how has it been with you being from Italy? Is it strange to have tours that you bring and you show around, or does it feel kind of natural and exciting to show people?
Yeah, it feels very exciting. And I've actually done it in the past too, a lot of times with a lot of my friends from the US who would come to visit all the time, like from when I did my exchange year back in high school or from college and everything. So I don't know, it's always something that's been super exciting to me to show people where I'm from or some different experience that you might get from a local that are definitely different than any other experiences. And then we've done it with Lisa too many times because they visited us in Italy for the past 10 years, almost every summer, I think, since our families have known each other. So yeah, I find it very exciting and it's something I love. I love to do and I love to share with others.
Yeah, and I wanted to say up front that I was part of one of your tours, so I just want to be able to give that background so I can share a little bit as we talk. And the reason I thought about saying that now is because it really comes through in your tours that Stefania, it was almost like you could definitely feel the excitement and like you were sharing with friends and felt very connected to you, and it wasn't formal. It was very natural and very comfortable, so it definitely makes a difference. So how, like, when you thought about your business and then your experience now, how do you design the tours? Because I know you have different tours where you get different places, but you also do tours that are customized for people that just want to come and travel in Europe. Like, how do you make sure, or do you design them to make sure they're experiencing the authentic nature of the countries?
That's definitely the most fun part to organize the itinerary. And what I love about it with me and Lisa is that I think we have a very similar vision of travel in general. And so we always try to come together. And when it's for the group tours where we are the tour leaders for, we try to think of different tours that cover maybe the most visited cities in Italy, but not only. So some little towns or experiences that are off the path too. But when it comes to the custom itinerary that we do for our private clients, we really try to consider what they want to do and what their interests are to make sure we try to kind of decide based on what everyone wants to do. If it's a couple of two, or if it's a bigger family, or if it's a bigger group, we try to put what everyone wants to do inside of the itinerary. So I think that's very exciting about the process for me and Lisa, because we always try to think if that's something that we would like to do, like in the first person. So that's always useful, because you know that it's something people would enjoy because you have tried it before, or you've heard about it before. So we try to put everything together into one itinerary for the groups or for the families. And for example, we had a couple recently that wanted to do more unknown towns and places in Italy because they had been everywhere. They had been to the Amalfi Coast, to Rome, to all the main cities, everywhere. And so we're trying to find an itinerary for them that was kind of like off the most famous paths and towns. And so we came up with an itinerary that visited Puglia, which is a region in the south that it's a little bit less known, and then Lake Garda, which is different than where everyone goes, Lake Como. And then they went to the Dolomites also. So they had a very diverse itinerary. And we just talked to them last week because they came back from their trip, and that's the first thing that they told us, that they loved how it was so diverse and how it fit exactly what they wanted to do when they initially talked to us about their trip. So I think that's the most exciting part about it, of the process. So,
Yeah, and we geek out with like just about travel, so we could listen to people's travel dreams. Like
yes.
we're with you. So we could people will come to us and be like, I know this might sound crazy, but I have a dream of like riding a Vespa in Tuscany. And we're like, that is not crazy. Like that's an amazing dream. Or, driving a Fiat Cinquecento through Tuscany, or cooking in a grandma's house, do a cooking class in a grandma's house in Italy. And it's those little unique experiences that, we really try to say, that's not crazy. Like, let's do that. Like, let's work very hard to make that happen. So, we love that. We love hearing where people, their bucket list, biggest
yes.
things that might be the only time they get to Italy in their whole life. So like really make this experience come true. We're just as excited as they are for them to do it.
I love that you talk about the bucket list because that's something that I had read a long time ago. Like when you're creating your bucket list, I mean, we call it something different, but it's the same concept, but they said be very specific. So not only I want to go here, but I want to do this in this part of this country. So like when you said, I want to drive a Vespa in the streets of, I can't remember what you said, but it's like, it's nice to have that vision of what you want to experience because it is very, like, traveling to another country can be so broad. And if you have these visions of really how you want to experience something, it can be, I imagine, disappointing if you don't have really like your dream of what you wanted to get out of it.
Yeah.
How do you talk to people about that? Do they already come to you and know that they want these specific things, or do you like talk to them about what is it specifically that you want?
I would say in general, people have an idea of
Yeah.
what they want, but maybe it's a picture that's not colored in yet.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of our private clients are more like, I don't even know where to start. But I know I've never been to Italy, so I know I'm flying into Rome. I probably want to go to Florence, but then relax a little bit someplace else. Or we might have like the last client she was speaking about. I've been to Italy so many times, so I really want something unique and different. So they kind of have an idea, but not necessarily they like us to fill that in for them. And then another thing is who's traveling. So a lot of times sometimes we'll have a family, and it's the same thing you're saying is, well, I have this idea of my family in Europe or in Italy, and I want my children to be engaged, and I want them to care, and I don't want them to be bored, but I want to go to the Uffizi in Florence. So, I've taken my children to Europe since they were very small. And we're like, okay, we could do a scavenger hunt for your kids. We could put together something like that. We could get family friendly guides that will really pull out the art. Oh, there's the dog. Sorry. Really pull out the art that you want to see that might be very famous or might be fun because there's like a medieval UFO in the background of the painting in Florence, or going into the sewers in Paris, trying to find fun stuff for children or romantic things for couples or fun things for girlfriends. So it really is very custom on who's going, sometimes what the age is, and kind of what that vision is. So again, so for us, it's just so much fun. It's so much.
Yeah, I want to say that not to make this a plug for your business, but I do. I mean, I was very, very happy with my experience. So, one of the things that I really liked about your tour was I know people that have been on tours and it's the bus tour. So it's very like you have this itinerary and you're here for an hour and then you get back on the bus and then you go here and you're here for an hour and then so you have designed tours that are much more flexible where you go for a day or like 2 days, say, in one city or town, and you have certain things that you are definitely have on your itinerary, but then you have a free time that you allow people to do what they want to do. But then you have the flexibility to say, if you want to still have us guide you, like we will do that as well. So was that intentional? Did you think about doing that, or was it a natural thing that's like, you knew you were going to have tours that way?
You mean with the free time included?
Yeah, like free time that it wasn't just like we're going to do tours where you're on a bus and you're like, you have this like rigorous schedule that you're sticking to the whole time.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's definitely something we thought about because I feel like that's what we like to do too in our own little vacations with our family that we've organized previously. And so, yeah, I think to have some time throughout the day that is free and you get to decide what you want to do is super important in general. And it was amazing in the group tours that you and other people were able to join us whenever we had free time, and we decided to do things together anyways because we wanted to. So I think that was amazing.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things we wanted to bring into the group tours is kind of like that Italian family. Like, really, the Italians have that stereotype of being big family people, and it's so true. And when you go to a home in Italy where Italians live, they do make you feel like family. And not to be so cliche, but that's what we were trying to create is this traveling family, like how we do it with our two families, that everybody feels welcome and seen. And there's different ages. As you know, we had some older folks on the trip who did amazing. We're doing 28,000 steps some days, but not necessary. We could have stopped for them, but they were plugging along. But really, like the way it would be with a family, like maybe some people are like, you know what, today I'm just gonna rest. But other people like, I'm in. let's do something. So that's kind of, I think, what we were thinking too, was just to treat it as a family, and what we would do with our family members, who two of them might have wanted to rest and just kind of like hang out in a cafe and just people watch. But two of them are like, no, let's go, watch the sunset in Florence with some sandwiches and some wine.
Yes.
Let's do that. So like we're in, so we love it.
Yeah. So, at the risk of giving away some of your secrets, what are some of the hidden gems in Italy that people like? I know people think like, oh, Rome and all the things that you see in Rome, or Florence and all the art in Florence, but like, what are some of the things that people don't normally think about that you love to share with people?
I think one of my favorite one is Matera, which is close to Puglia, but it's in the region of Basilicata, so very close by. And it's where they have the cave dwelling, so all the town looks amazing, both during the day and at night. And so it's something very unique that you can't really see anywhere else, because it's very, very unique. And they have hotels inside of the caves, so you can spend the night there, and very, very unique. And then another one I would say is the Umbria region. So with the group, with Michelle, we went to Orvieto, that town where we stopped for lunch, which is in Umbria. And all the region is very unique and very amazing, and amazing food, amazing wine, amazing wineries. But it's a little bit further away than from the main cities. So maybe from Rome or from Venice, that it's not very well connected. So it's still not super touristy. And I really like the smaller towns too. So yeah, I would say maybe Matera and Orvieto. Those would be my two hidden gems.
Yeah. Well, I definitely want to, I can put a plug in for Orvieto because we all know my husband's favorite place on the whole tour was Orvieto. And I think he wants to go back and live there for at least 3 months. So we'll see how that goes.
Yes, that would be amazing.
How about you, Lisa? Do you have anything to add to that, or would you agree with those?
I would agree with those. I would add Lake Garda, which is, so unique and beautiful. And like Stephanie was saying before, maybe a little bit lesser well known than Lake Como, where everybody kind of thinks up in the lake region. It's just humongous. There's so much to do. It's right by the Valpolicella wine region.
Yeah.
So we had clients going on a picnic with the Valpolicella at a woman-owned winery. So they had just like a really special day. It's close to Verona, so you could go to the opera. In the summertime, you could go to the opera. They have concerts going on. It's just a very, very special place. And you could walk between the cities. And our one client there, big foodies, huge foodies, and they says that favorite restaurant in the entire world was in Lake Garda.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we were like, wow. So yeah, it's a very special region.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know the name of the restaurant, or I'm putting you on the spot, but for anybody listening that might want to know that the best restaurant in the whole world.
I'll let you say it's
La Speranzina.
Fuck.
So yeah, very close. Okay. It's in Sirmione, so in the main town, right on Lake Garda. So La Speranzina.
Speranzina. Were you surprised, Stefania? Had you been there before? Did you know that it was going to be?
No, I had never been there before. But these clients really wanted an food experience in Italy, kind of like a chef's table experience. So we tried to find one for them that was the most similar to it. And so they were able to tour the wine cellar, the kitchen, and then they said the daughter of the owner showed them around the whole restaurant and like told them the whole story of how they converted their grandparents, I think, house into this restaurant. So it was just like a whole amazing experience that they had. So yeah, I would love to go. I'd love to go and see how it is. But yeah.
It's so interesting that you say that, because that is another thing about Orvieto, right? Is we went to the restaurant and they were so friendly and took us down to tour the cellars. What was it? A well?
The
Etruscan well they have in that restaurant.
Yeah, but they were like, yes, come down. And like, it wasn't part of a tour or anything, but they spent the time with you and really cared about sharing the information with you and their history, which was amazing.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it wasn't a touristy, like it didn't seem, at least, to be a touristy area. So it really seemed like that was just in their nature to just want to share.
Yeah,
Yes.
and you really do in Italy get those local moments. When we were on the tour, we stumbled, it's like those moments that you want and you never know if you're going to have them because they are spontaneous. We stumbled upon a priest outside the church playing the accordion, and the whole village was out and dancing, and we were like, oh my God, like this is what you hope, you're going to see. And clients just told us that they turned the corner and there was an author speaking about his book to the whole village, and the whole village was out there. And they
Wow.
were just like, wow. And they're authors actually. So that was like very special for them. So, you hope. And in Italy, it's pretty easy to find those moments, even in Rome, even in the big cities. Like, it's just such a special place.
Yeah, so you both talked about how much, well, Stefania, you live in Italy, and Lisa, how much you have traveled to Italy. What would you say is your most memorable, like, personal experience in Italy in terms of the travel and, yeah, how you've experienced it?
I think I was telling Lisa this a few weeks ago because I went to visit one of my friends in Sicily. She's from Sicily, but she moved closer to where I live in Modena for school and college, and now she works here. So she just goes back in the summer. And I went and visited her for like a long weekend. And it was just amazing because I stayed at her house with her parents and all her friends. And she took me out to see the little town where she was from. It was like the smallest town in Sicily. And it was close to Palermo, which is the bigger town. And it was actually the feast day of Palermo that weekend that I went. And I didn't even know. So I got to experience the whole weekend of festivities that they had. They had an hour and a half long fireworks, and they made me try all the food it was so much food. They made me try everything. And she just showed me places that I wouldn't even know existed if I wasn't with her. And she made me try food that I wouldn't even know existed if she didn't tell me. So I think it was just the amazing experience with a local that I love. And I enjoyed it so much. And I think it's what I like the most whenever I go visit my friends who live like in other parts of Italy, and now maybe we're a little bit more grown up, so they go back to their hometown, so it's different for them too, and they show me around and they make me experience things in their town. So I think it's amazing.
Can I ask you a question? So I think a
Yeah.
lot of people, like what you said about experiencing new foods. So a lot of people just think generally Italy is pasta, and everywhere I go, I'm going to have pasta. Can you maybe add a little color to how the different regions have different types of foods and how it came about that you have lived in Italy all your life and now you're in Sicily experiencing new foods that you hadn't had before?
Yeah. So Sicily, their food, I think, is the best. I'm sorry, but I think it is. And it goes against where I'm from because I'm from Emilia Romagna, which everyone says is the best food. So, but Sicily is just on another level. It's a lot of pasta, but with heavy sauces in them. So their main one has eggplant, parmesan pretty much on it, and it's just incredible. Or all sorts of ragu, white sauce, red sauce, just they put everything in their pasta and it's amazing. And it's weird, I would say, because they live in a place where it's so hot all year around, and their food is so heavy that I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't make sense, but it's amazing. And then they had me try like escargot, but the Italian version. So they had this it was like a little box, and it had like all the little things inside, and I tried those. And then they had me try some food that they were like, you don't want to know what this is.
Oh no.
So I'm like, okay, I'll try it. So I tried it. And then they have even the meat. They're big on meat too. So they try, I tried the spleen meat. They had kind of like a sandwich with the meat inside. So very different things. Meatballs, arancini, which is the fried rice balls. So all sorts of food. So Sicily is amazing for me. A lot of pistachio, which I love pistachio. And then Emilia Romagna, which is where I'm from, it's, I would say, more traditional. So a lot of lasagna, tortellini, all the cold cuts. So prosciutto, the cheese, Parmesan cheese is from that region. So I would say that's more traditional. We have some meat dishes too, but it's mainly pasta and cheese and cold cuts. And then the northern parts, it's closer to Germany and Austria and kind of like that area. So they have that influence. So again, it's a lot of pasta, but it's more German food too sometimes, kind of like in the Dolomites or in the area that's way up north. And then another one that I would say, it's maybe the Rome region, which is big on pasta too. So I would say a lot of places are big on pasta. But there's a lot of different dishes that they do, and a lot of fights they have because who has the best dish that they cook in a different way. So maybe we do the carbonara one way and Rome does the carbonara another way. So people are always saying this one's better, that one's better, and things like that. So yeah, I would say a lot of different food, but mostly around pasta.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, was that in Rome, I think we were trying to experience the different artichokes that they have there. And they, even in the same region, they have different types, ways they prepare it. So that was very, yeah, if you're a foodie, Italy is definitely, I mean, maybe all of Europe too. I mean, definitely Spain, but Spain, basically, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say London is great for food. Probably other people have had different experiences there, but definitely like Spain and Italy for sure, based on my experience there. So just a very quick question for both of you. What is your favorite region in Italy? Like where, like if you had one place to go, like you can never go back again, but only to this place, where would it be?
That's so hard. I think I would say Tuscany. Because it kind of has everything. The Cinque Terre, which is not Tuscany, that's Liguria, but it's so close to it. So you really have the beach and stuff and just beautiful beaches, but then like the amazing cities like Florence and the wine region of Chianti, and then the smaller villages of San Gimignano and Volterra. There's kind of, it kind of has everything. And yeah, the beach, it does have beaches, but I would go like more like, we're doing like Lerici. What was the other beach you went to that we went on the boat?
In Tuscany or in Liguria? Oh, Porto Venere in La Spezia.
So yeah, but it's close enough, I feel
Yeah,
like.
it's close.
You could kind of link them together. So I just love it there. But that's if I couldn't go back ever. I mean, there's just so many great. They're all great.
Yeah, I would say Tuscany or Emilia Romagna, which is the region where I'm from, because the food is very good, the wine is very good, cheese. And then the towns are very cute. They're less known, I would say maybe Modena or Parma or Bologna or all these other towns, but they have a lot of history. And their downtown, it's very walkable and cute, I would say. So yeah, I think I would pick Emilia Romagna.
Yeah, and so before we kind of move on, I want to talk to you both about starting the business together. But one more question about Italy, and you've talked a little bit about it, and I feel like we experienced a little bit of it too, the local culture and traditions. Are you intentional about adding that into your tours or the experiences? And how do you think about that when you do organize the tours?
Yeah, we're very intentional about it. So we did one of the tours, and I've been going to the Lucca Summer Festival for over 10 years. And one of the things, again, bringing the children in is we love taking them to concerts in Europe. So one of the tours we did was around the Ed Sheeran concert. So the tour kind of ended with going to the Lucca Summer Festival in Tuscany and to the Ed Sheeran concert. And now we have an upcoming tour in Paris, and it's going to end with the Fête des Musiques, which is like the music festival. So that'll be like the last night of the tour. And basically, it started in Paris in the 1980s, where just anybody could come out. And if you're a music lover and you play a little bit of music, just all over Paris, there's going to be live music from amateurs and then professionals. So it's just going to be outdoor concerts everywhere. So as you could tell, we love music. And especially in Europe, it's just such an amazing thing to take advantage of. So looking at kind of what's on the calendar, what's interesting. Also, we're doing a tour in Umbria, and it's the Feast of St. Francis in Assisi. So we're taking everybody to Assisi specifically for that cultural, and the Feast of St. Michael in Bastia, Umbria. So we do look for different things that are on the calendar to make it, if it's not special enough, to make it even that much more richer and deeper of an experience, because you really see how the locals go to concerts or celebrate their feast days. And it's just, it's for Americans, I feel like it's pretty unique, and also the best people watching, like everybody in their own element. So we love it.
Yeah, I really loved our experience where in Florence we went up to the was it, Piazza Michelangelo or something. I sorry if I'm getting that wrong. And we're like, oh, we're just gonna have sandwiches and we're take a few bottles of wine and just sit there and watch the sunset. And little did we know there was a whole pizza festival going on and music. And so sometimes it's just it's fun by accident. But that was one of those, because we weren't on one of those tours where it's like you're here for an hour, you're here for an hour. Like you get to kind of be you kind of find yourself in situations like that when you can just explore a little, and it just really makes the trip so memorable.
For sure.
So moving on to the business side of things, how did your business come about? Like how did you come up with, how did you decide that you wanted to work together in a business, and how did you decide that it was going to be travel? And it might be the other way. You might have both decided, I want to do something in travel, and then you decided to work together. But how did that come about?
Yeah. Well, for me, it's funny. That kind of makes me think of a couple of different things. It's kind of just like the philosophy on life type of thing, my age. So I was turned 50 and was like, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? And, what makes me happy? What am I passionate about? What am I good at? Um, and, I've always I've been taking people to Europe for 30 years, including my family, friends. And, we just came back from the Lucca Summer Festival. We had just seen One Republic. And I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, it makes me happy seeing other people have those aha moments. Like when you turn the corner and see the Colosseum for the first time and realize you're on a Roman road, and like, wait, what? Those moments are just like, it just makes me so happy. So, I decided that's something that I was interested in, but I knew I couldn't do it by myself, but I didn't want to do it by myself. And Stefania and I are so on the same page with travel. And I approached her and I was like, do you want to do this? I was like, think about it. And she was like, yes. I'm like, no, think about it. Think about it. Um, it really is just for us, it's what we love. It's what we do kind of anyway. It fills us so much, the travel, and watching others experience the travel that we've done before makes us so happy. So I think that's kind of like how it started. And of course, being in Italy and seeing Stefania, she's so good at it. And I'm like, I think we can really combine our strengths. And this could be really big. It could be really good. So
Yeah. Something you said, I don't know what triggered it, but I failed to mention. I think we said we were going to say this before now, but we want people to check out our social media accounts. I don't want to wait till the end in case somebody doesn't get to the end, but we do have a giveaway, like a giveaway with some Italian things. I don't know what we want to call it, but we'll have more information on social media if the listeners watch. And we will say this again at the end, and I hate to break up the conversation, but what is the best social media account, or where is the best place for them to see Alla Tua?
So we have a private page where we post a couple of times a day about Italy, and it's called Escape to Italy, Travel with Lisa and Stefania. So they can find us there. They can, or of course, our personal Lisa Custodio or Stefania Piacentini on Facebook. And then we have Instagram, of course, for Alla Tua, but that's our social, yeah.
So it's just so for Instagram it's Alla Tua, like ALLATUA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So back to the business. Thank you. Sorry about that. What would you say? So I know we have a lot of people either listening that have started businesses or maybe think about like what it might be like to start a business. And just to kind of be realistic, like what are some of the biggest challenges that you ran into when you started your business that were surprising for you or unexpected?
I would say initially it was to decide our roles and how they fit into the business. Because of course the fun part was to create itinerary and be so excited about people going on trips because we're always like we're so happy for them and like it's a big part for us. And so, but there's in a business there's also a whole other like a lot of other things that come into it. So even the setup, the initial setup, the website, all the things you have to do for your new company, and just kind of like the setup itself initially, I would say was one of the main challenges we had. And we haven't had that many, thankfully, in these past few months. But yeah, I would say that's what it was initially, because we were so excited about the fun part and about organizing trips for everyone. But then we were faced with like a lot of other things to do and to split between the two of us. So I would say that was the main one we faced.
And so I'm just going to ask this because of my own experience. Did you know that you would be driving a van around Italy when
No.
you started?
And it's so funny because I'm always the driver, always. Any kind of situation, any kind of vehicle, if it's a boat, I'm the driver. So it's just so funny to me because all my friends were like, "Oh yeah, I mean that makes sense."
Paris.
It wasn't too crazy, but yeah, I was not expecting it.
I just say that because you never know. Like, yes, like when you think about the business, there are some fun, not so much fun things. Like you want to just do the business, but you know, all this other stuff like the marketing and setting up the business and all that. But then when you really get into actually doing things, like there are even more things that come up that you're like, oh my goodness, did not think about that.
Yeah.
So one of the things you said about was deciding on your roles. Is there like an unwritten rule between the two of you to make sure that you resolve disagreements or that you both of your voices are heard in the company? Because with the partnership, sometimes that can be a little challenging. And even when you've known somebody, that can sometimes even be more challenging because you're like, can I say something? Should I say something? Like, how do you navigate that and make sure that you are open and honest with each other?
I think, well, we think of it kind of as a family business that we're so close. So we're extremely collaborative. So we run the company like as an agile company, which is what my husband does on his end. And what that means is we have a weekly sprint goal. So we have our goal of what we're going to work toward for the week. And every week we see if we met that goal. And then we have our daily stand-ups to see how we are working every day toward that goal. We have our backlog, we have ideas, we have epics. So through his mentorship of us, we run it in a way, in an agile way, and it fosters a lot of communication. So we're always talking. And, for us, there's such a high level of trust that, really we're like, there hasn't been any major disagreements. More like, because even Stefania on the American side knows a lot of like the American tax law and accounting and stuff. So it's not even like, she's very much on the Italy side. She's very plugged in she got her MBA at Vanderbilt in Tennessee. So she's very plugged into the way the US runs business too. So yeah, so I would say practicing Scrum and having a working agreement works a lot in terms of those disagreements of how we're going to hash those out. So I'd say that really helps.
Did it feel awkward at first? Like, I'm just thinking about all those things you said, like related to Scrum and the stand-ups. And when it's just the two of you, did it seem awkward at first that you're getting together every day? Like, okay, what do we talk about? We just talked about it yesterday. Or was it easy for you to get in that mode? I mean, I know, Lisa, you've been living in that world. Was it easy to get into the mode of being that organized about everything?
I don't know how anybody does it any other way, yes, but I'll let you answer that stuff because, yeah, I'm definitely in that mode. So I'll let you answer that. But I don't know how anybody does
No,
it.
yeah, I agree. I think it's amazing and I think it's great. And I had never personally used that approach. So I love it. I love it so much. And I think it helps us a lot in what we do. It's pretty much perfect for what we do actually, because it enables you to set goals, which is what we need every week. And then every day we have a conversation about that along with other things, because we talk about so many different things for like a long period of time every day. So I think I think it works amazing.
That's awesome. I love it. I'm going to maybe follow up with you both after this call. So you've alluded to this a little bit earlier, throughout our conversation, but what were each of your strengths that you brought to the table, and how do you feel like you've complemented each other in the business?
Yeah, I would say, in terms of like that, really like because we're mainly doing stuff in Europe. It's kind of like me knowing as an American what Americans expect. And Americans kind of either at my age or Americans who maybe are parents that are very nervous to bring their children abroad, and how are their kids going to react and are they going to have fun? So bringing that sensibility of a mom and an American, and knowing that in July we need air conditioning. In June we need air conditioning. It's non-negotiable. And I need to see the air conditioners in the room, because sometimes they're like, we have air conditioning. And I'm like, well, where is it? I need to see it. And even just because you said you have air conditioning doesn't mean it's going to be up to par for an American family. So just little silly things like that. So I would say, yeah, like that. The strength would be just traveling for so much and knowing the little nuances of what the clients are looking for. And then she's almost on the side. I'll let her talk more about of the receiving and finding those hidden gems and that local. It's such a huge strength.
Yeah, I think like being in Italy and being able to talk directly to a lot of vendors we use for our trips is crucial. And I realized everyone is so nice and like super available to discuss all the options that suit you better, which is incredible. So I think having the connection with um, Italy in particular, but Europe in general, of course, helps a lot because it's crucial and it makes you able to offer experiences that are different than everything else. So it kind of sets you apart in the travel industry, I feel like. And because we try to find family run places or local little wine vineyards or local little hotels or boutique hotels or places in different parts of Italy where you can create a collaboration. And it's just amazing to be able to talk to them. Almost we talk on WhatsApp or we talk on the phone very normally. You don't have to go through emails or through more complicated ways. So I think it's what sets us apart a little bit, hopefully. And I've found it so nice because everyone has been incredibly nice, like amazing.
Love it. I love it. Have you, I don't know if this is something you want to talk about, but have you run into any times when you've disagreed about something and just wondering, I think it'd be helpful to know like how you worked through the disagreement?
Unfortunately, no good stories, but disagreeing. Okay. Like in terms of like again, not disagreement, but in terms of like being like, what should we do? Like we just had a situation with the Vatican actually. And it was, should we get these tickets or these tickets, and putting your name like on the ticket for the Vatican. And she could call back and forth to the Vatican and be like, are you going to let us in if the name isn't exactly perfect or whatever? So to me, it's not a disagreement. It's more of a, I'm going to let you take the lead on that. Like I had some thoughts on that, but I'm out of my element, right? I'm going to let you take the lead and, speak Italian. And going back to the strength is one of the things we have for our private clients. And of course, when we're on site is a white glove service that when you're on site, you have Stefania, like that could, if things are wrong, could get on the phone in Italian and be like, what's going on here? What's going on there? If you want to make changes, if you feel a little bit nervous about something and you want to leave maybe a half hour earlier for the airport, she's on the same time zone as opposed to a travel agent in the States like me who might be sleeping. But of course, I have my phone on when we have our travelers, but she's so there and accessible. And really, it's amazing what she does for our travelers.
Yeah. I love that. Is there anything that you didn't realize about starting a business that you realized that you weren't expecting?
I would say like that it's a lot of work. Of course, we realize that. But being patient, kind of embracing the growth, letting planting these seeds and knowing it's not going to be a full grown tree in 2 months or 3 months, and kind of breathing, seeing what we're good at, fleshing those roles out, making those sprinkles, and really just embracing the growth of the business. And it's okay if it's a little bit slow growth, I mean, that as we get into our roles and settle into our roles and where we want the business to go, and you have that backlog with like these dreams and manifestations of what we want it to be. But as we work through the weeks and we work through our clients and see them happy, being like, okay, this is good, embracing it and taking our time, being patient with it.
I
I would
agree.
say that.
Yes.
Yeah. So important to remember that it's a journey and
Yeah.
Can I make a pun and say Rome wasn't built in a day?
of course. Rome wasn't built in a day. That's very accurate. And of course you can say that. Yeah, and I imagine too, just the business that you're in, like when you said take a deep breath, like even when you have people that are not, or even on your organized tours, that things come up and you probably feel responsible for the people, like being able to take that breath and not let it affect you personally,
Yeah.
but knowing that you're going to get it resolved and you're going to handle it, and it's going to be a great experience.
Yeah.
Like to be able to think through that, I imagine is I'm just trying to think of my stress levels around that and how I might feel.
And European travel, it is different than American travel. It just is. And with our clients, before they go, we give them a packing list, and they can use it or not. We give them a know before you go list. And one of the things that's in that know before you go is it's different there.
Yeah.
In Italy, they take food very serious, which is why most people are going to Italy. But then they want you to sit as long as you want. So you might be like, okay, as an American, I've sat as long as I want. Now I want my check. And like, where is everybody? And it's like, that's in our know before you go. You might be ready for your check, but they might be doing something else. And it really is just following their lead and not being like, I'm in New York or I'm in LA and I need the check. I'm ready to move on. Like, kind of like that slow living, because whether you want it or not, it's going to be. That's the
Yeah.
culture. And that's where you're going, so it's kind of like, just taking it slow, and it's okay. Everything is not going to happen immediately, the way it does in the United States. But that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as you know, Lisa, I feel like Miami really trains you for that as well.
Exactly. Exactly.
Do you have a few more minutes if I could ask you a few questions that I like to ask all of our guests?
Yes, of course.
Okay, great. So, one of the things that we like to combine is leadership, but also balancing that with taking care of yourself. And you need to take care of yourself to be a good leader. So, we love for our guests to share different rituals or routines. If you have one that you follow every day, week, that you feel really helps you with your mental wellness or your emotional or your physical wellness.
I would say since recently, it's been maybe 6 months, I'd started going to the gym in the morning, like early in the morning. And I don't know, it just changed my whole day because it makes me wake up earlier. So my day starts earlier instead of waking up and start working 30 minutes later or something like that. So I think that's something that I really enjoy, and it takes my mind off of things first things in the morning because I'm thinking of the gym and other things. So that's one thing. And then I used to love to read like a lot, and I stopped it for a few years. I don't know why, because I think I don't know why, but I stopped it. And I just recently started again too, a few years ago, maybe. And I think that changes. Like we're always used to like being on our phone or on our computers all day. So that's something that helps me a lot too. If I dedicate maybe a half hour or hour every day to reading a book or different things. So I would say those two things.
Was it hard starting to go to the gym in the morning?
Yes. Yes. But I started because I go to this gym where in the summer it gets very, very hot. And so in the morning it's a little bit more fresh and there's more air. So I started it because I would die in the afternoon or in the evening. So it started like that, and then I loved it. I really loved it. And so I just kept going in the morning, maybe twice a week or 3 times a week. I don't know. I don't go every day, but it still helps a lot because it starts your day earlier, and I think that's important.
How about you, Lisa? Any routines that you would say attributes to your well-being?
Yeah, so now that I'm getting older, I have learned and realized how important sleep is. So I make sure I get 7 hours, at least 7 hours of sleep, meaning that I go to bed earlier. But one of the big things that I do now is I wake up before the sunrise. I think you do that too, Michelle, right?
Yes.
So it's very important, getting for me, getting up in the dark, and again, if you told me even 2 years ago doing this, I would never, ever, ever have believed you. But getting up in the dark and sitting on my balcony with my cup of tea and the dog and waiting for the sun to rise and, just meditating, so I take a lot of time in the morning for myself before the day starts, before I have to bring my daughter to school, before I have to start work. Whereas before, was getting up and getting lunch ready and getting the kids in the car and just starting so fast. And now it's like I'm up 2 hours before I have to start and really take that time for myself. But then on the other side, that means I have to go to bed at a decent hour.
Yes.
Which again, I was like, I can't, but now I do. It makes such a difference not starting so crazy in the morning.
Yeah, I agree. And Stefania, I asked you about your tips for waking up early to go to the gym because I'm really trying to start that myself. Just to make sure that I get it done is trying to do it in the morning because when you're working throughout the day, you can find all these reasons to not go. And I feel like it really sets your day up, but it's been a struggle to move my time to the morning. And I definitely agree, Lisa, with the having that time in the morning to just set your intentions for the day or even to have that quiet time. And it's so different once people start doing that versus just rushing into the day. It makes such a difference.
Yes.
But so do you both have a song that you will put on to when you need a little confidence boost or energy boost?
I would say I go for Pitbull.
Pitbull. Okay.
And then on Spotify, and then it kind of starts from there and it goes to other songs close to that genre. So yeah, I would say Pitbull.
Do you have a favorite of his? Or it's really just anything?
Maybe Time of Our Lives. That's what I would start with. Yeah, that would be the first one I listen to. Yeah.
How about you, Lisa?
Yeah, for me, living in Miami, I'm pretty pumped up as it is. But I was thinking about it. I think if I really want to listen to something fast and fun, I like musicals. So like Hamilton or Les Mis or The Sound of Music. So I like listening to show tunes.
I love it. I mean, Hamilton can definitely get you pumped up. There's
Yeah, Lin-Manuel Miranda. That's my guy. And actually, that's where I said, I'm like, I want this travel company to be like the Lin-Manuel Miranda of travel, like the Hamilton of travel, just different and amazing and great. So yeah, he pumps me up with anything he does.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Is there anything under or like around $100 that either of you have bought recently that you feel has improved the quality of your life?
We are sure about that question. Our things are way more than $100.
And that's okay. Is there anything, even if it's a little more expensive, is there something that you feel you benefited from? I always like these recommendations for people to think about. We share a lot of stuff in our newsletter, like a weekly newsletter as well. I think it's so, I don't know, helpful.
To be honest, it was funny. I was thinking, and this is so random, but the Castile soap, it's made a very big difference, and it's definitely way under $100. And now I'm making my cleaning products with that, and I'm making soap in the house like that doesn't have all the chemicals in it. So that's made a humongous difference. It's definitely not a sexy answer for sure. But it's cheap. I don't know how much it was, $20. And it's made such a big difference. And we wash the dog with it. We do kind of everything with the Castile soap. It's kind of the base of all these different recipes. So it's been nice kind of taking care of the family a little bit more, myself a little bit more. And it's made a big difference. And it's under $100.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. That's perfect. I love it.
One thing I was thinking too is I bought a big water bottle for the office, the big 1 liter.
Yeah.
where it helps you like drink the water during the day, and you're supposed to drink 2 of those. And I used to think I drank a lot of water, but I don't think I did, because that's a lot of water in a day. And so that helped a lot to have it just at the office during the day.
Well, that's great. Did you ever, I always think people like at first when it's full, is it hard to pick up and drink out of? It
A
seems
little
so
bit.
heavy.
Yes, yes. It is heavy. I would say it's heavy, yes.
So funny. And Stefania, you were talking about this a little earlier that you were reading books. Is there a book or a podcast that you would recommend? It doesn't, I mean, it can be fiction or nonfiction. So any kind of recommendation that our audience might be interested in listening to or reading?
So I've been reading Italian author recently. So I don't know if he has books in English, but I love his books. And I've been reading one that's named A Night in Bali, Bali, Indonesia, which is where I'm going next week for vacation. So I started reading it because I liked the title, and it ended up being an amazing book about finding your place in the world and how he keeps traveling, and now he travels everywhere and he writes books when he travels. So it ended up being an amazing story about finding yourself. And I think traveling is a big part of that, to find yourself. So I just loved it. I loved it, and I think I'm going to bring it with me and read it again. So I've been into mainly Italian books recently, so I don't know what to recommend. But
No, that's perfect.
Yeah.
We'll definitely put that on here. A night in Italy. Or no, a night in Bali.
Yeah.
A night in Bali.
Yeah, like A Night in Bali. I don't know if this
Like
has
A Night in
an English name. I don't know if
Okay.
they're translated into Italian, into English, but yeah, it's very good.
Okay. Great. How about you, Lisa? I know you are more podcast oriented, but you've been reading as well. Like, was there anything you would recommend?
Yeah, I just read. I'm always reading, which is great, like health books or self-help books. I'm reading fiction now. Like I'm making myself like put that aside. Well, a good book. It's not a health book, but it was The Good Life, which I think we talked about. Michelle, is about the longest study on happiness, and kind of they started, I think, before World War II in Boston, and the study is still going on, yeah, through Harvard, and kind of just studying these men and now their children and their grandchildren. And they actually give the spoiler at the beginning, the secret to a good life, and it's connection. So, and they really go up and down their DNA and their health and their weight and all of these interviews with them, and really found like what makes a good life. And it was, connection. So it was a great book to kind of, you knew the ending, but kind of read that and kind of, and keep putting more of that into play, how important connection is. So yeah, I thought that was cool.
Perfect. Well, I will share both of those and everything that you've shared in our show notes, so everybody can take a look. So we've reached the end, and you are officially part of our audience's Hype Squad. Is there one last piece of advice or words of inspiration that you would want to leave everybody with before we end our conversation?
For sure. For me, I have 2 quotes. One quote when I turned 40, and which was so like, this is so true to me. It was, everybody's winging it. Like, one thing you find out when you're 40, everybody's winging it. And that kind of kept me going through my 40s. And then when I turned 50, a quote that I saw that I love, that I feel like is keeping me through my 50s is, oh my gosh, let me get it right now. It's, everybody, you have time for a second act. There's time left for a second act, but you better get moving. There's still time, but you better get moving. So that's kind of how I saw my 40s, is don't be so hard on yourself. Everybody's winging it. And my 50s, it's kind of like, get together kind of where you want to be in the next 20 to 30 years. Because my health, my mental well-being, and where I see our family, I've been laying those stones since I met my husband 30 years ago, but still kind of figuring that out. And it's a blessing to have Stephanie, who's such a different age than me. She's 29. I'm telling her all these things. Make sure you do this. I mean, she has her mother who's amazing, but it's just, I get so much from her youth. And hopefully she gets a little bit from me being a crotchety old lady.
For me, I would say it probably sounds very simple, but to do what really makes you happy and something you enjoy doing, because I never thought I would be doing this with Lisa or be in the travel industry, but it really is the thing I love the most. It's what makes me happy and what makes me excited to do. So I would say yes, to just trust your vision and to just stick to a plan, even if there's challenges or obstacles, and just keeps doing what makes you happy, and hopefully will turn in something more.
I love it. Such great words to end our conversation with. Thank you, Stefania and Lisa. And thank you, Stefania. I know it's a little bit later there, so I really appreciate you joining us in your time zone. So if our audience wants to reach out to you for questions about entrepreneurship, or they want to travel to Italy or Europe, what is the best place to do that? I mean, I know you mentioned Facebook. Is that messaging you there or email? Like, how can they reach out to you?
They could email us for sure. So it's Lisa@allatua.com or Stefania@allatua.com. We have a website, allatua.com. And Alla Tua, by the way, means cheers in Italian. In Italy, when they toast, they say Alla Tua. That's where we got the name from. And of course, we have our Facebook private group where we post 2-3 times a day, always putting pictures and fun videos and travel tips. And that's Escape to Italy, Travel with Lisa and Stefania. We have our Instagram, Alla Tua. And we have a phone number, which is 917-584-1462.
Oh, phone number. Thank you. Awesome. Well, amazing. Thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it. And I hope that people reach out, because like I said, my experience with your tour was amazing. And I was a little comprehensive about doing an organized tour, but it was, it exceeded my expectations. And for anybody listening, if you want to know about my experience, I can share that as well. So I'd be more than happy to do that. And you're starting a business, I know is hard. I've done it multiple times. And so I appreciate your insights into that. So thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you
so much.
All right. We'll talk with you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.